All right, so I did my research presentation on how video games can be an effective tool in teaching. My basic argument was just saying video games, when used in the right context of education, have the ability to engage in a number of different areas, as well as help some students who may be underachieving by using video games as an alternative method of teaching. Because video games and education can prove to be an effective tool for teaching and learning. So one of my pieces of evidence I found on Explorer was 4 innovative ways to teach using video games, and statistics showed that 55% of teachers use video games in the classroom on a weekly basis, and many find the games to be an effective tool to motivate low-performing students. So basically, the teachers who use video games in school use them as an alternative method of teaching, and they find legitimate ways to motivate their students who might be underperforming or not liking the subject that they're particularly teaching, just as a way to further motivate the children, or the students, I should rather say, to achieve their full potential. The next source I found was article called "The Geology of Minecraft." And it basically was saying, one of the quotes from it actually was, although Minecraft is based on geology, the geology depicted is simplified. Usefully, this sets up a perfect opportunity for injecting real geographical science into class discussions. So basically, teachers can use Minecraft, a game, which is basically like you go through a world and you go and you try and find different supplies that'll just help you basically survive. Or there's also a creative function where you can basically just use those same supplies. They're given to you, though. You don't have to go find them. Use those same supplies, and you find the best way to just make a creative basis or a creative place for yourself to live and just go around. So basically, it's showing that those games like Minecraft can be a segue to learning, and can help teach the actual subject that the game is based on. And it can also help with the creativity of a person overall, as well as the learning aspect. Another article I found was called Digital Game Based Learning Enhances Literacy. And one of the statistics it showed was that just over 1,000 or just over 1/3 of students nationwide performed at a proficient reading level on a national assessment of educational progress in 2018, which was one of the reading assessments that some of the kids who were surveyed in this article had just taken. And it also said later in the article, digital games provide rich interactive multimedia that engage students more than traditional text. So after seeing the low performances of the people taking the test, the teachers decided to use technology and gaming as an alternative method of teaching to basically help their students perform at a better level overall and keep them more engaged. The next, or one possible rebuttal I might see overall to the argument, is that many educators and parents of students, when they think of cell phones, technology, video games, they think of the distracting video games that'll keep their kid up in their room and just making all the noise and won't produce anything good. But there are different websites and different games for different purposes. While there are some games that might be considered simply a distraction in their certain context, some games can be used when put in the right place. They can be used to enhance learning, to be an alternative teaching method and an alternative learning method. Basically, what I'm saying is, while those games may be considered a distraction, if they're used in the right context, they can be a better way that will keep kids more engaged and actually make them want to learn or encourage them to actually learn. And my closing argument basically is just that video games have many different subjects and they can be useful for teaching and being used as an alternative method of teaching and learning. If those traditional methods that teachers always love to use fail fail to really reach the students in a way that the students are participating willingly and enjoying their participation, if those methods fail, then video games and technological games, education for educational purposes, should be looked into as a way to enhance classroom learning, and just better involve the students in schools so they actually want to learn what they're learning. And those same video games, majority of the time, if you use those video games, it'll be more appealing to students, and they're more likely to enjoy and retain the information that they have. All right, so 3 questions I found from somebody who used, or somebody who read over my presentation and just wanted to know something. It was, why did I choose this topic? I can answer that one really simply. I always loved video games growing up, and I play both video games that can be considered distracting and video games that were educational, and I just wanted to show that there was a link between the two. All right, so another question I got was, could all video games be used in the classroom? And a very simple answer to this is no. Basically, I would say that all video games are not appropriate for classroom settings, just because there's some video games that can be distracting, that can't be used for education, but there are some of those same games that may be viewed as distracting, but can actually be very helpful in a classroom setting to enhance learning for either low-performing students or unmotivated students in general. And then the last question I got was, what ratings would you consider for what video games should be used in the classroom? And basically, I would just say you should base what video games you're using in the classroom off the maturity level and the age group of your students, as well as you need like certification or acceptance or permission from administration and parents, because some people might not feel the same way about all video games in the classroom. And then this last slide, I basically have all the places where I got all my research. Went on Explorer, the database, just to find majority of what I found. And then all the websites are right there, and all the different names of the articles I used in each of my slides are also right there. So basically, that's my presentation, and I just think video games can be used in a classroom setting and still be very effective.